Hello and welcome. You're here with Miss Libby Rose. Hello! And in today's sewing tutorial, we're going to be making a fabric book cover made from a fat quarter. So if you'd like to gather up materials for this, you'll just need one fat quarter piece, scissors, pins, tailor's chalk, a ruler, your notebook that you're going to cover, your iron and sewing machine. So gather up your materials and come back and see me. Now, if you're going to be joining me on the Pink Bus Sewing Workshops, you can check those out at misslibbyrose.com/hobbycraft store visits. I'll pop the link down below for you. So if you're coming on the Pink Bus, on the Pink Sewing Bus with me, this is one of the projects that you could choose. Now, especially cool for kids. So if you've got, if you are coming onto one of my young people's workshops, then you could choose this project. You could choose it as a beginners as well. Now, you can have the option of having some lovely embroidery on yours. So I've done one here with Queen Bee on the front with some lovely embroidery on there. Now, if you would like me to do a slogan on yours in advance, then just let me know and let me know which workshop you're coming on, and I'll make sure that I have something ready for you. So let's get back to the project at hand. So if you take your notebook and your fat quarter piece, so lay out your fat quarter piece, lay it down with the wrong side showing upwards because we're going to do some chalk marks on here. Now I come and I open up my book. Now, depending on how thick your spine is, you need to take that into account as well. So I lay this out and I put it about the spine in about the middle of the fat quarter piece so that I've got an equal amount of flap on that side and that side. Then what I'm doing first of all is working out how much distance I've got at the bottom and at the top. Now you can leave about 2 or 3 centimeters, but the maximum is about 4 or 5. Okay, so 3 centimeters is about good. I think that's what I've done before as well. It's about 3 or 4 is good. So also check your pattern. So if you've got a pattern going a long ways, just make sure that that is sitting nice and straight. Sometimes the fat quarters get cut a little bit wonky when they come from the factory. So just double check that. And if you need to, you could straighten out that line and then leave yourself, say, anywhere between 2 to 4 centimeters at the bottom. Now, once you've got that nice and straight, then you can chalk mark your line at the top. So I leave myself about 3, anywhere between 2 and 4 centimeters, and do a nice line across the top and then cut that off. Okay, so that, then you've got your width size ready. So then we will look to the length. Now what I've done is I've gone ahead and overlocked all around the edges. Then I lay, so again, I'll find that halfway mark. So I'll fold this in half and then I'll pop the spine in the halfway mark. And then I flap over my edges. Now, the bigger the flap, I think the nicer it looks inside, but it is a little bit trickier to slide the book in if you've got bigger flap on the side. But you can if you like. Now, how low could we go there? So probably around between 6 and 8 centimeters is quite good. I've actually got mine double that. Mine is coming out 12, but I quite like that bigger flap. So I'm going to leave that and I'll just maneuver my book back in. So then you could zigzag or overlock around the edges. Then you will just on these shorter sides, fold it in once and once again. You could iron that down as well. So you're just creating a hem on both sides. Pop your pin in. You're going to be sewing along these lines here. So pop your pins in perpendicular to your stitch line. So fold it down once again, then you've got a nice neat edge there. iron it down flat. So get your iron and iron it down flat and put some pins in both sides. Then stitch along that side so you've just created hems on both of your sides. So go right ahead and I'll see you back here in a minute. Place the fabric so it is facing you. So up on the table, on your table, and the fabric is good side up facing you. Okay. Then I am going to get it the right way around first of all. Right, so I've got the fabric facing up to me and I go one side at the time. All right, so spine is sitting nice and flat. I know where my center of my fabric is. So first of all, double check that. I've got to fold where mine is. So fold it in half and then you know there's my center. Lay the book down and the top is in the air. Then I fold my flap inwards. Okay, so folding the flap inwards, just this one side. Now you have to do one side at a time. I know that sometimes, and I'm terrible for it, I like to just get them both done at once, but this is really important to just do one side at a time. So spine is sitting nice and flat to the table in the middle. This is up in the air. I've got that flat there. Now I do a chalk mark where I'm going to stitch, so ever so slightly down from the cover, but not too much because you do want it sitting nice and snug. Hold that in place, pull out the book, pin. Okay, so can you see I've chalked that in place and then I'm going to pin this side. So just one side at the time. Now I've got that pinned nicely. Can go double check it again. That down. Lovely. And it's pinned in place. Now holding this flat, flip, right, spine down, there it is. Okay, down. Ah, there we go. That will make the spine go down better. So pages up in the air here, spine down, turn this side in, do your chalk marks, pin in place. Okay, so we've turned and pinned both of our flaps and chalked down. When you pull the notebook out, just double check that you have got the same amount of flap on both sides. If not, go back, unpin and lay again and do the same process again. But if you're happy, you've got your chalk marks and your pins in, then we're going to sew. Go along that chalk line, 1, 2, 3, 4. So go for it. And then trim off all your threads. So any loose threads, trim them off. Take your pins out. Then before we do the unveiling, we're going to trim out corners. So we've got some nice sharp corners. So I'm going to trim off the edge up to the stitch line, making sure I don't go over it. So tiny little triangular trims off the edge. So I've got nice sharp corners for my book to go into. Turn your iron on so that's nicely heating up and then turn it through. My corners are coming out nice and sharp. If you need something to help you poke those corners out, just use a chopstick or something blunt. I've always got chopsticks on hand for pushing out corners. All right, and you will see that this just folds down nicely. So if you have overlocked or zigzagged, then you'll just see that zigzag edge there, but it's giving a nice flatness on the front. then we will press that nice and flat. So get that pressed nice and flat for a nice professional finish. And then this is when you'll see the size of the flaps that making the difference, okay? So absolutely do whatever size works for you, but you can really play with those sizes now, okay? So I'm going to slide in the edge of the book here into the flap bit. And it's the other side that gets a bit tricky if your flap is quite long. But it's really nice to have that because you get that extra bit of fabric in there as well. So I'm just going to manipulate that in. There it is. Thank you very much. And in. Beautiful book cover. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. And if you do want to have embroidery on yours, if you're coming on the pink bus, then just email me or let me know on any of the social medias and I will get that ready for you. Otherwise, I'd love to see your make. So if you can, just drop me a picture of your make or any questions or queries or anything, do just drop them through to me as ever. But thank you so much for watching and I'll see you for the next tutorial. Bye for now.